I'm finding this video very hard to film. Delph. I know. Okay, I know before you say anything, I know what your reaction to this video is gonna be, because we have had this discussion a million times. But I am tired, okay? I'm standing up. You know shit gets serious when I'm standing up, okay? Wind up. What am I talking about? Here's the thing. You are amongst the people who genuinely believe that humanity is doomed. Okay? You think that we are all greedy and cruel deep down on the inside. You genuinely believe that. And I respect that. I just think you're wrong. And this is me exposing my point. Hashtag Team Humanity is something I'm very proud of. Let me get something straight. Team Humanity is not about justifying the acts of humanity or being... Team Humanity is not about justifying all the horrible acts that humanity has committed, and it's not about making excuses for it or ignoring them. Team Humanity is about realizing that we can rise from those acts. We can make beautiful things using the horrible remnants of those acts. We can build and we can learn. That's what Team Humanity is about. It's about having hope and faith in humanity in our darkest times. And I think we owe it to ourselves. I'm proud of being a human being. I'm proud of being in our society. I love us more than anything, though. Because I might like us as a group of people, like us as a group of values, but what I love the most of all is us as individuals. I love the individual potential that each person has as a person to change things, to do things, right? Because I genuinely believe that absolutely anyone can change the world. How? With our words. And that's why I wanted to touch upon social media. Throughout this entire horrifying 24 hours, I have been following the media. Not just the media as in CNN and BBC as I spoke about yesterday, but also social media. I've been on Twitter, I've been on Facebook, I've been on Tumblr, and I have seen all the reactions that have been going on. I've seen them all. I've seen people's disbelief, I've seen people's anger, I've seen people's sadness, I've seen people's defeatism, I've seen people's attempts to explain or understand what has been happening. I've seen people defending themselves. I've seen people defending other people. I've seen people accusing some people. I have seen all the ends of the spectrum across social media. And I would like to say thank you. My favorite thing in the world that happened yesterday was that in the midst of all the chaos, before we knew how many people had died, etc., people in Paris on Twitter trended the topic porte ouverte, which means open door. That meant that they were basically opening the doors of their homes to everybody out on the street who might be in danger. So they were literally saying, come into my house. You have a problem? Come into my house. I will help you. And that was in the midst of chaos and disaster. It just goes to show that if you want to find hope, if you really want to find hope, go to the darkest of places. Because that's where you're going to find it. I genuinely believe that. To anyone out there, remember your individual potential. Remember that you can literally do absolutely anything right now to change the world. And remember that in the most horrifying of places is where you're going to find the most incredible shows of hope. I genuinely believe that events like these can be taken as opportunities. I feel like when there is a massive disaster and your immediate response is to lose faith in humanity, you're halfway there. Because to me, after that loss of faith in humanity, which I also experience immediately, I'm like, God, how is it possible that things like these are still happening? And I get angry and I get sad and I get shocked. That's when I stop and I look around myself and I think, okay, I as a person have the power to turn all this horribleness into energy. And that energy can catapult me into doing something good, something really good. I can turn on a video camera and speak to people, just say my opinion. It's so easy to feel powerless. We can create these amazing chains with hashtags and things like that just as easily as we can create this situation where you're sitting in your room and you tab out a tweet and you feel completely isolated. It's so easy to feel like there's nothing you can do. This is our world as well. The biggest mistake you can possibly make is thinking that being 12 means that you can't do anything. That being 13 means that, oh, you don't have a say in your world. You don't have a say in what's going to happen. You don't have a say in what to feel or what to do. The biggest mistake you can make is not trusting yourself and your voice, and not trusting the ability that you have to quite literally change somebody's life, change the entire world with one sentence. It can happen. It's happened. We might not be firefighters, we might not be politicians, but we are the future, and it is up to us to decide what happens next. This is a story we're all writing. We all have a say. We all get to decide. We can all start immense change if we choose to, trusting that in the most horrible, abject of places, you can find immense hope. Like yesterday with the hashtag Porte Ouverte, and like in the Holocaust, how you would find people who would desperately try to help the Jews escape concentration camps and things like that. You will find the most incredible, unbelievable shows of humanity in the darkest of places. But it's up to us to be the light. We can't sit around and wait for it to happen. This is our world. It's up to us to decide that. Do you want to create hope? Because you can. In fact, you are. We are hope. Look at all these ideas that are flying around in our heads right now. All these things we want to talk about, all these things we want to make. That is hope. That is what we're doing right now. And I don't think there's ever been a more important time to reiterate that. This might sound like gibberish to you, and I understand that, because after every disaster, there's always a bit of a breath, an intake of breath that people do, a bit of a, we're all a little shell-shocked. But don't give up on us. Please. Because we need you. So many brilliant minds, so many brilliant ideas never see the light because people don't think that it's going to amount to anything. Because you don't genuinely believe that what you say can make a difference. I disagree. If you want to start a blog, do it. If you want to write a novel, do it. If you want to say a speech, please do it. There's a reason that my immediate reaction after I found out that this had happened was turn on the camera. If you want something to happen, you have to make it happen. And if you want something to be said, you have to say it. Right? We can't sit around and wait for things to work. I have immense faith and hope in who we are as a people. My message of hope to you is that I, throughout my life, I'm going to try my best to see the light in the darkest of times. I'm going to try my best to try and see it. Please, try and see it with me. So this is my message of hope. Retaliate if you're mad at me, Delph, but I mean, not mad at me, but to everyone in Paris, to anyone in Burundi, to anyone in Japan, to anyone in Mexico, in Syria, and everywhere else where things are happening right now, which is, pretty much everywhere. That was... I'm being so inflammatory right now, goddamn. Shoes everywhere. I was doing some research. Don't lose hope. I know it's the easiest thing to do under the circumstances, but you cannot lose hope.